Okay, this is the meeting of the Wellfleet Housing Authority on Zoom. It's being recorded. Calling the meeting to order at 10:02. Good to see everybody. Good to see the sunshine too. First on the agenda are the minutes of April 1st, which Richard sent out to all of us. Are there any additions or corrections? They looked good to me.
Thank you, Richard.
Can I
Okay,
move them, please?
yep. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor? I'll do the roll call. Sarah,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. Thank you. The bills are next. Gary, you're on.
All right. I would like to ask for approval to pay a bill for $210.56. And that is to Kelly and Ryan. Kelly is Kelley and Ryan, and that is for the tax insert.
Oh.
So the town, I don't recall if in the past whether we paid the bill or not, but it doesn't matter. It's a small amount. And they were asking us to pay for that insert. And I don't know if Elaine has already told you, but we've received in excess of $12,000 and approximately 40 individual contributions. And we have some more on the way that we know of.
That's
But
wonderful.
Gary, that's to the town of Wellfleet.
No, it's not to the town of Wellfleet. It's to Kelly and Ryan. They are the people who actually do the real estate bills. And
Okay.
for the insert.
Okay, thank you.
$210.56.
56 cents, okay.
All right. So
Thank
I
you.
entertain, I shouldn't say.
I move that
Is there
we
a
pay
motion?
Kelly and Ryan $210.56 for the tax insert.
A second? Any more discussion? All in
Okay.
favor?
Oh,
Oh, go
okay.
ahead, Gary.
no, I was just gonna say, why don't we just say for default, if we agree with the bills, Richard could move them and Sarah could second them.
Sure.
Yeah. So we don't have to go through it each time. It's
Okay.
up to you, Madam Chairman. Chairwoman,
Chair.
you're a lady.
Yeah, yeah.
Chairperson.
I'm just really trying to keep Zoom meetings as clear as I've been told I should.
Okay,
Okay.
my apologies.
So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye,
Elaine, aye.
very
Thank
good.
you.
The next one is from Community Development Partners, CDP. It is their February bill for the technical assistance that they provide us on a monthly basis. This is in the amount of $1,681.25, 1681.25.
Is there, I would move $1,681.25 to the CDP for their technical assistance for the month of February. Is there a second? Sarah,
Second.
okay. Any more discussion? We do get a report from them of the actual activities. So we're confident in their work. All in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Elaine, aye.
I'm going to do the emergency rental assistance and then the regular rental assistance, but do you want to, Richard, do you want to kind of give us an update on your discussion with HBC?
Yes, Gary, thank you. We have a person who was on emergency housing assistance who is ending that assistance. And I'm going to request that they be moved on to regular rental assistance in the amount of $650 a month. This is a woman who's living in town, has two teenage sons, has some complex medical issues, and we helped her through the emergency housing assistance and are going to be moving her on to this, at Maggie's request, moving her on to regular rental assistance. She's working very hard with HPC and their programs to kind of get back on track and a clearer path to our financial stability for herself. So that will be we won't be paying that money out of the emergency account, but it'll be a new regular assistance. We have two people coming off, this lady and another lady coming off the emergency rental assistance. And I believe we're going to be getting a new emergency housing assistance client coming through shortly at I think $600 a month. This is a woman who's living with her daughter. The woman owns the house, has another complicated medical condition, and the daughter, who is paying rent to the mother, lost her income due to the COVID and some other complex technical tax matters. So they will be coming online on the emergency housing assistance. So bottom line there, two people off emergency who had been on it and one person coming on, and we'll get the bill for that in the future. And one of the people who is coming off emergency now going on to regular rental assistance. So I guess what I have to do is just ask for a motion for, and Elaine, I don't know how much you just need this for the dollar amount right now, right, Gary?
Yes, but I think we might as well, we should approve it before we authorize the payment of it.
Okay, so I will just mention the landlords, right? Is that how we do it?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, so I'm asking for approval of $650 a month to Carol Larson and Joseph Finnegan for a property at 1453 State Highway in Wellfleet, commencing with the June rent.
Is that your motion, Richard?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the new regular rental assistance client.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sarah? Any more discussion?
Are we approving it for a specific period of time, Richard, or is this something that likely that we're entering into the quote unquote busy season?
Right.
Earning, so I don't know.
This is likely to be for some time, Gary. What happens is, parenthetically, Maggie and I, we have people going through July now with our last review. Maggie and I will be meeting at the end of next month, at the end of June, so that at our July meeting, we will have a projection for some rental assistance from August going forward for 4 or so months. So we're running out the last segment of reviews, and we're planning on the next one. We're meeting on July 22nd, I think it is, to review all the regular rental assistance.
Thank you so much, Richard. I would only add that when you give us that report, if you could tell us how long the people have been on the regular rental assistance, not today, but
Okay.
when you report, tell us about how long they've been on.
Okay, I have
That's right.
that.
Okay.
And everybody who's now on, Gary, is still within the 3-year. No, one isn't. but 4 out of the 5 who are now on, and now it'll be 5 out of the 6 who are now on, are well within the confines of our 3-year guideline for assistance.
Okay,
Okay. So in essence, today we're approving it, but it will all be reviewed and
Will be
kind of a whole
reviewed,
package in August for all.
right, it will, the current crop will be reviewed in July. Yes. No, excuse me, in June for the July meeting, so we will be on time for August. Had
Okay,
my month screwed up there, sorry.
all right. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye,
Gary,
aye.
Elaine, aye.
So if I could, then with that approval, I have the following amounts. For our regular rental assistance, for the June rental assistance, amount of $2,547. $2,547.
And that includes the new client.
Correct.
correct.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve $2,547 for the June regular rental assistance?
So moved.
Sarah, I'll second. Any more discussion on that? All in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye,
Gary,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. Thank you.
And then the last bill that I have to submit is for Homeless Prevention Council, HPC, for $1,587.50. 1,587.50. And that is for we pay them in arrears. So that is the assistance that they have provided in the month of April.
Great. Okay. I move that we approve $1,587.50 to Homeless Prevention Council for the emergency rental assistance. Sarah, second.
so,
Sarah. Any more discussion? All in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
aye,
Gary,
Aye.
Elaine, aye.
I
Okay,
do not have any other bills at this time.
okay. Well, that was a slew, so that's okay. Next on the agenda is the report on the ADU bylaw and the hearing, which was a learning experience last night. We have another one coming. The one last night was on the petitioned article. They continued that discussion until the hearing on the 19th, which is the hearing also on the select board article. Sharon, do you want to?
Yes, first, I'd like to say what a relief it is to be in on this so calm meeting. And I swear it was just hair pulling last night. So it's enormously frustrating, these meetings, I think. And one of the things that I learned was, well, I did not understand, even though I had a conversation with Gary about how the meeting would go, I did not understand that we sort of would have our chance to speak at the beginning and then that was it, pretty much, unless they had a specific question for us. So that was a big piece of the learning experience. And I am going to confirm it with Gary that at the next meeting, I am free, we're continuing this meeting and that I will have an opportunity to bring up my responses to their objections, which they have many and I have many. I've had a whole little string of emails and messages this morning. Scott LaJoy and Stephanie are both, still in it with us for the long run. And Scott was suggesting perhaps a strategy meeting next week with anyone who's interested in being in on that. And he was also thinking that like Sarah, that a good article in the paper would be helpful at this point. I also wondered whether, do you think there's a possibility of and I don't even know how it works on Zoom. I mean, what I would like to have is sort of be able to present the bylaw and then have a conversation with the audience, with other people from town to find out what their concerns and questions are and see if we can resolve those. But there really wasn't any opportunity for that at this public hearing. So I don't know, in normal times, I would say, well, could we have a forum? I don't know how a forum works on Zoom. Any ideas, any thoughts?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the same way it would work, in a regular meeting, I suppose. I mean, I think it's going to be important to clarify that we get to pull out all our information at the beginning. And I think since it's a planning board hearing, then they get to speak, and then the public gets to speak. And then I guess that would include any of our rebuttals to anything, although
Yeah, but the planning board has this way, which we have seen in action in many different meetings with them, of spending 2 hours spinning a bit. And by the time that there's an opportunity for anyone to speak, everyone has either left the meeting or they're just so exhausted that they can't even think straight. And I don't know if that's a strategy. It works, but so I just don't want that to happen again, because I don't want to send out emails to everybody I know and say, come to this important meeting, and then have them not have an opportunity to do anything but listen to the roundabout. And so I just don't know, what other way to do that. I think in other times we would go to Chamber of Commerce meetings and a variety of different meetings and, take our dog and pony show. But
Should we be, Sharon, I've seen so much from you. I've seen it posted on Facebook and I've gotten emails. It's amazing. And I'm sure you're working tirelessly and endlessly. So thank you. But should we all be trying to do some of that? You know what I mean? Should we all be trying to raise some awareness? Should we be posting on Wellfleet community space, things like that, to try to draw people into a conversation? Or
I would think so. I mean, I'm not very good at posting. I mean, everything I post on the Facebook seems to disappear. So I'm very confused about that. And the last one, Elizabeth Salen repasted it for me. And I have been responding to any questions that arise there. And that's a good way to do that. Obviously, not everybody's on the community pages.
I think we may have to prep more of the people that we talk to that are willing to come to say something right at the beginning after, and to clarify that whole first part is public.
Right.
But then also clarify how we get to respond.
Well, Jerry has already, he told me, now I'm not going to just let people keep repeating things. So if people get up and say, I think this is really important bylaw, he's going to say, well, we already heard that.
Mhm.
So
Sharon, can I?
yeah, please.
I think in normal times, when you go to a meeting of another body, you're more or less at mercy of their rules and the culture of those meetings. It's, it's kind of just the way it is, how they do
Yeah.
their business. And as you've already mentioned, we've been at a number of planning board meetings where what happened last night has happened, in another context.
Mhm.
I think it's even more difficult on Zoom when all of these groups have not established, so to speak, a new methodology or routine of their meetings, and are not 100% comfortable with the format.
Right.
And so much was, I remember 95 Lawrence Road, so much was accomplished in those community meetings, you know,
Exactly.
at the library, at the COA, where, you know, people could just walk up the aisle, get to a mic. So you're putting forward a petitioned article in the middle of a pandemic where the old rules and systems don't work. Now, this has just been a, you know, a testimony to what's obvious to everybody. And I don't have the answer, because I think even if you try to do a forum online, that'll be kind of peculiar as well.
Right.
So Elaine's point just made is a good one, you know,
Mhm.
be fully prepped ahead of time. But even at that, if it's a planning board setting,
Right.
you know, it's still the planning board's rules, so to speak.
Well, I got fooled by the words public hearing.
Yeah.
Tricked me. Well, one thing that Scott with Joy said was, you know, chances are the next planning board meeting is not going to be much different from what it was last night, because as you say, that just is their culture. And what he said is it's probably more time to really focus on town meeting and how to, you know, making sure that people come to town meeting who are in support and that they have the information. So I don't know whether it's handouts. Maybe we could get some space in that news dealer window about it, you know, just so people walking down the street would go, oh, what's this about? And then offer them some way to ask questions. You know, I'm open to all suggestions, but
Well, I want to echo what Sarah said and say thank you so much for what you've done, Sharon, and how much time and energy. But it was incredibly frustrating last night. I wonder if in terms of practical strategy,
mhm.
does the planning board have the right and authority to change the recommendation of the select board?
Well, they can't change the select board's recommendation, but they could.
No, but to change the actual wording of the bylaw.
Well, that is something I do need to get clarification on, and I'm going to ask, I will call Danny Silverman and ask him that
So
question.
let's have that answered.
Mhm.
So we have a clear answer, and that I think we're gonna have to engage more with the planning board.
Engage what?
Engage more with the planning board as opposed to have them in an adversarial position. But here's my question. What is specifically that they would change in the proposed bylaw that would make it more acceptable, that is acceptable to you? Well, I don't actually, you know, even after 2 hours, I couldn't say, oh, if you did this and this,
Right.
it would have their approval.
Right. Well, two things come to mind. One is the number of ADUs allowed on a lot, which Helen was all gung ho about, you know, allowing as many as possible. And I understand the rationale behind that, but I think it scares the planning board, and I would not be opposed to putting a limit on it, say 2 or something. I mean, 3 is what we have for AADUs, so.
Well, is it possible to sit down with the planning board or members of the planning board before the next hearing and work out?
I don't
what
think
that
that they're
is?
allowed to discuss it outside of the meeting.
Um,
Because Jerry said that to me.
Is the select board able to discuss it?
I don't know.
I was told that we as individuals could talk to an individual on the planning board.
Because I would say you might just sit down with Jerry and say, Jerry, what is it that you actually object to? Or what is it you think the planning board actually objects to? We're going to have ADUs. If there's a middle ground that says, if we accept X, does it then become more palatable for the planning board. I was discouraged that it seems like our support there has actually eroded.
I'm not completely convinced about that, but I think that there may have, who knows? Who
Right,
knows?
we don't know, but it, just on the face of it, that David Mead Fox and the woman, I can't remember her name, but
Beth,
you're right, effectively spoke against it.
Yeah,
So
I thought I
I-
would be willing to talk to David.
Yeah, so I would try and get my hands around, what is it that they actually object to?
Well, what I heard last night that was concrete, the few things that were concrete, Jerry said he was bothered by the by right, and he was bothered by no limit, no number.
So let me
Those were
just-
specifics that we, one we
yeah,
know.
we're speculating, and I would rather hear it directly from them, but let's assume that
said
that,
it. He said it last night.
no, but
Yeah.
I mean, let's assume that those are the two things. Then, you might have a middle ground that says by right for one unit and by special permit for more than one. I'm not advocating that. I don't know what the solution is. I just think if we could get together with them and try and hone in on what is it that they really object to. If you start with the premise that we're going to have ADUs, what makes it acceptable? I'm assuming they don't have that they're trying to represent the town.
Sort of.
well, that
What
would be,
else
that
can you
would be
do?
the assumption.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start with that assumption. I mean,
It's
that they
just,
don't have an individual axe to grind on this.
No,
it was
Gary, can
Go
I,
ahead.
Gary, let me, do you, I hear what you're saying, and I want to try to get off track here, but I also heard last night, and you guys have mentioned it before, they get involved in water and, water in and water out. And
Right.
I'm assuming that those are genuine concerns of theirs. Is that fair to say?
Well, I think, I'll give you my perspective, and really Sharon
Yeah.
should answer it, but there's two things. I think it's genuine concerns of theirs, number one, but number two, it's outside of the purview of the planning board. That's really the responsibility of the health agent, and the health agent has already, I wish Hillary would come to one of these and speak to it so that we have an official position. But that's what I'm saying is, if you could work out, okay, if it's water, what exactly is it, and what would be acceptable to you?
Right.
Again, if we make the assumption we're going to have ADUs.
But doesn't the bylaw provide that you have to meet Title V requirements? So there's actually no
But
difference for
the whole, but that's the whole, all bylaws, all the state
right,
is
but
the one
that's
that regulates
there's
that.
gonna be no bigger flow on any one lot than would already be
Right.
allowed.
So
for
there,
family.
but you have someone like David Mead Fox now saying he has sort of moved to the anti-side.
Mhm.
From my perspective, well, that's what he was speaking last
Yeah,
night.
I agree.
And
And he sort of
his
came back at
concern-
the end.
yeah, but his concern is, to answer Sarah's thing, his concern is about the usage of the resources.
Well, Gary, wouldn't it be helpful then to, in terms of strategy, to have somebody like Hillary at one of these things who could
Right, as I was
set
saying,
aside that issue?
right, I'm agreeing with you. I think if one important deliverable would be Hillary and what she would say. But the other is have somebody from the select board, because it's really the next one is the select board's.
Yeah, I was surprised there wasn't a select board member there last night.
Right, but if beforehand, we could work out, here's what people want.
yeah, I think we understand. I think that's why Sharon's talking about a strategy meeting, because
No. You were talking about a public forum and soliciting support, and also talking just amongst yourselves again. And I think you have to engage with the other side.
I think you're right, Gary, but you know what? I am so tired
Yeah, I started with that, Sharon, and you have done so much. So is there somebody else that on your group that can do that?
Not Elaine. I mean,
Well,
she's.
I mean,
retired.
I'm willing to talk to David Mead Fox. I'm willing to talk to Bonnie Shepherd. I'm will, I'm willing, if it's okay for us to talk one-on-one,
Right.
So the-
which Helen said it is. I mean, Helen will be there at the next hearing. I don't know what her ability to address it is. I think she clarified it and can be fully
Well,
engaged.
and sometimes she goes down some rabbit holes.
Yeah, I was going to
too.
say, I don't know to what degree she is
Okay.
an agent provocateur, but
How helpful that is.
yeah, but as I suggested, Sharon, maybe get to Mike.
Yeah, I
And-
sent
and
an email
say-
to Mike yesterday.
Right, and say, can we really talk about this? And if our goal is to get this passed, can we nail down what it is that the planning board objects to?
You know, that it may be possible to make some tweaks on the town meeting floor. They were discussing that a
No,
little
no,
bit last night.
Wait just a second. I'm talking now about, can we make changes to the select board's request?
I don't know because it's in the warrant already. So we need to get an answer on that.
Nothing is actually in the warrant yet.
Well,
By the end, I contacted Rebecca and she said by the end of next week, she hopes to send the warrant to the printer.
Right, so, I know, so you have, roughly a week, 10 days.
mhm.
Gary, I know that we have more work to do, but last night Stephanie Cox answered almost all their questions very clearly.
You're,
Why?
Right, but
And we
you're-
have to continue to do the same.
no, I'm suggesting a slightly different approach, Elaine. I agree, Stephanie did a good job.
Yep.
But that's not the issue. The issue is getting the select board's recommendation.
We have the select board's recommendation.
Excuse me, I misspoke, the planning board's recommendation.
Mhm.
Because if the planning board comes out against it and they have these concerns about resources and the proliferation and more Airbnb spots and very little impact on, it's going to be tougher to get it approved on the floor of a town meeting.
Well, we have the answers to all those things.
If you had them, honestly, you didn't deliver them last
Well, I
night.
know because, I think I thought what we had heard was, this was the petitioned article. This might not be where we gave our full thing, that we would do that at the 19th. So, that's,
Okay, I've given you my 2 cents on it, so.
I think your point is a good point, Gary, but every time I try to talk to Jerry Parent, it kind of goes, it just doesn't work out well for me. And I'm
Well,
And do we need to, I'm happy to talk to, not to jump in where I wasn't even at the meeting last night, but Jerry and I worked together for many years. I'm really comfortable calling him. if we want.
uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then,
ask him, if he could make give
Yeah.
you concrete statements about.
absolutely.
That would be very helpful, Sarah.
if there's 1 or 2 things that you could live with,
Mhm.
that they could then live with the overall concept.
So I could live with limiting the numbers, but I'm not going to live with by special permit because that
I'm
is the
not-
poison pill.
Right.
I don't-
And again, I'm not asking you what those are now. I'm just talking about the process of trying to hammer out, if you will, a deal.
Mhm.
I think allowing 1 unit by right is actually reasonable. I don't see that being a big negative for us. Do you guys?
Mm-mm.
Do you think there would be a lot of people trying to do 2 and 3? I mean, I feel like with Title V and all that, that would be a tough.
There
proposition.
haven't been many, yeah, I mean, in terms of the AADUs, I think there's only like 3 or 4 property owners who did more than one, and that was only 2.
The other, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say this is, this is a helpful kind of breakdown of, assessing what happened and what we need to do.
Mhm.
Gary?
No, I was going to say is, I thought when they were talking about the 8 towns that have passed the ADU, that was helpful, and we can always talk about the uniqueness of Wellfleet, but nonetheless, other towns have come to the same conclusion about dealing with the same shortage of year-round rentals. But the other thing that Stephanie said was that some towns, like P-Town, already have it. They don't need an ADU bylaw. They already have multifamily
Right.
zoning. So how many other towns that don't have the ADU have multifamily already? And if we find out that, let's say the answer is 12 or 15 of the towns on the Cape all allow this, that's a stronger argument to make, I thought.
Mhm. Yeah, we could potentially, I could ask the CDP to research that for us.
Okay.
Which towns have multifamily zoning?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So sandwiches just passed earlier this week unanimously
There
at
you
town meeting.
Yeah, I think, that concrete information from other towns, even though Wellfleet is unique, is helpful, So those are real specifics that can be incorporated into our beginning of, explanation. Yeah. Yep.
The other thing I would say is there was some back and forth between Bruce and David Mead Fox about good intentions. And I don't know that that's terribly helpful. The fact that they looked at it and couldn't get it done, and then they suggested that we do it, and now they're balking at it.
Yeah.
I know that buys you.
Sharon?
Well, the fact is that we have been working on this for over 1.5 years. And they had plenty of opportunity to, jump in.
I would say that, Sharon, is that this isn't a new idea, or it isn't one that we didn't have time to develop. And that the planning board certainly had ample time if they were serious about it.
I would agree.
Are they just afraid of numbers?
I think partially.
I really, again, I'm a little unclear as to what they're really afraid of.
There is a growing movement across the country that zoning in general and single family zoning is really at the root of many of our housing issues and issues of inequities. And that if you want to address social justice, you're going to have to make it possible for people to have, more houses on a lot, or, you're going to have to change zoning because it's not working. And it's creating enclaves of privilege, which is what we have.
Well, I mean, if anything, this year has made clear that our town is just not going to be sustainable. I mean, really in any way, if we don't do something, you know what I mean? I'm sorry I wasn't there last night, but I'm sorry that things like wastewater and stuff are coming up because I feel like they're so easily answerable, So I don't know, but I would think this would be our moment, even in this particular town and moment, for everybody to understand how much we need this, right?
The statistics that we were working with CDP, if you had 1 or 2 of those slides, which shows the affordability gap. I know you don't have the rental one, but really what Sarah is saying is true, is that at the end of the day, this is what it's about, is that there is no housing, and this is one strategy. And whatever limitations or complaints you might have, you got to come up with something better. And they haven't done that.
Right. I would be interested to know if the technological, I know that it should be possible to share screens and stuff. I don't know how to do it. And I've never seen them share a screen once.
Why don't you ask? We could ask for that if it would be helpful.
And it seems like the secretary, their new secretary, Rebecca was really on it. She was always like watching out for raised hands and things like that. But that didn't seem to happen last night. And I don't know, maybe it was just not communicating the need. But, that part was frustrating too.
Sarah, I think it would be great if you could talk to Jerry, and maybe one of us too could just contact him about clarifying the procedure at the very beginning, very clearly for everyone, so that, it runs a little smoother.
I'll write him an email about that.
Mhm.
I can do.
But I would definitely talk to Danny about it, and I would definitely talk to Mike about it. And again, I think marshaling the select board
Mhm.
would be very useful at the next meeting, rather than how many people are listening. I honestly don't know that they care, or I don't know how much they're swayed by that.
Well, they were taken aback in the beginning by how many people were on. So, and then they also recognized that they've never had a bylaw brought to them by the select board either. So we do need to make sure we clarify the process for the next one.
Because there might be some easy middle ground that would get everybody's support behind it and make it a much more palatable sale at town meeting.
If I don't have the technological skill, but I've been at meetings where they say, okay, if you have questions, put it in the chat and we'll address them.
That was disabled. The chat was disabled
Oh,
for their meeting. You couldn't. I think they've decided that's beyond what they want to do.
And the raised hand, they don't recognize them?
well, theoretically they do, but if they don't see it or think they don't see, I mean, I sat there for 45 minutes to an
Yes, I
hour.
saw that. You
with my
and
hand up, and from time to time I'd go like this, but not one I didn't get called on.
can you speak? Can you interrupt like David
Well,
Rowell does?
that's what Beth Singer said. Well, just speak up then. And
Yes,
I'm like,
I'm almost going to suggest that might be the vibe.
I think I'm going to have to, but it's not really my nature, but I think I will have to go there.
Okay. Well, yep.
Elaine,
Anyway.
One more thing.
I think Sarah's point, I don't want to reiterate what all of you guys just said about housing and the needs and so and enclaves and all the rest of that stuff. But the other piece of this that I think frightens people is the environmental impact of things like this. And that as part and parcel of what goes forward here, people's concerns about that have to be addressed.
I
Had a
wonder,
chance to speak, I would address it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Doug Gooey Lee might be available to come to the meeting on the 19th. He's the Assistant Board of Health agent, and he's young and he lives here in town, and is a huge housing I mean, he and I have had many discussions about how unsustainable it is to live here, and he's a perfect example of somebody that should be able to buy a home, that should be able to have a place. You know what I mean? I don't know whether he's allowed to come as Board of Health capacity or whatever, but he's also somebody I would be happy to talk to.
He's certainly allowed to speak as an individual.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, he would also be eminently qualified to answer Title V questions and those sort of concerns, so
Would you be willing to ask him, Sarah?
Yeah.
He could find out, if he can do it officially, or if he could
he can
speak
do
as
it
an
as Board
individual.
of Health assistant, or whether he comes as a citizen but can also use his expertise. I'm very happy to ask him.
That would be great, Sarah. Thank
If
you.
we're paying a guy to be a health agent, can he give us good information?
Oh, he'll always give us good information.
Right.
But
Well,
officially,
We also pay him to be a health agent, and he has no shot of buying a home in this town. I mean, it's
We heard the same thing, just FYI. Our town administrator just recently departed.
Maria,
Couldn't get a place here, and our new assistant town administrator couldn't find a place here.
Yeah.
she's talking about building a place in Eastham.
Mhm.
it's so sad.
That's what she said to me. Yeah. But so as just on one final note, with the wastewater piece, I have spoken directly with Hillary. She said, I don't know what the problem is, why they're so worried, because yes, some properties are not going to be eligible, but many are. And the other thing that I've been saying to people is, look, yes, it will trigger a septic inspection. And if the septic needs to be brought up to code, that's only good for the town, right? I mean,
No, absolutely. I mean, honestly, if this were to pass, I would try to see if I could change what used to be my office into an accessory dwelling unit to rent to somebody year round.
Mhm.
And I still would only be allowed 4 bedrooms. We have a 4-bedroom septic. We use
Yeah.
2 bedrooms right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I couldn't do 6 bedrooms. You know,
right.
I mean, it's just what you already have. That's it. You know, so
But if we have to upgrade systems, that's to everybody's benefit.
yeah, but everybody may not have the money, but it doesn't.
Well, I
you
think there are people who are trying to find, money to help with that. So,
But Title V went into effect in 1978. We have fewer and fewer cesspools that exist in the town. You know
mhm.
what I mean? I think most properties are Title V at this point. So they just have to be functioning.
Yeah, there's talk that if you put in an innovative alternative system, you could potentially get an extra bedroom.
I heard them say that.
We've been doing that for a long time. The town has allowed it. Like if you have a half-acre lot and you want a 3rd bedroom and you put in an alternative system, they call it sort of buying a bedroom.
Aha,
Mhm.
interesting.
But that might be even, you know.
Mhm.
I
hopefully
think the other thing to
down.
stress is, what's a good outcome from the ADU bylaw? I mean, if we got half a dozen a year,
Mhm, right,
that would be huge.
It'll be
I mean,
great.
Come
2 or
true.
3, I mean,
and that's pretty much probably the reality,
yes,
the
and
most-
that is other towns' reality as well.
Right. That's why I think getting those exact figures would be helpful.
Right.
Yeah, yep,
So, I mean, they have this bogeyman that the town is going to be somehow radically changed and the density is going to be twice as much. I mean, it's
I'm
just,
gonna have like hay bales rolling down the street next to $1 million beach houses.
The
Sorry.
fact of the matter is that the character of the town is rapidly changing if we do nothing.
Yes. I hate to say this, but I need to leave at 11, which is 10 minutes from now. So do we have other things we need to vote
shut up.
on?
I
Oh,
do,
Shut up. I don't.
yeah, I would like to, I was hoping Mia could be here so that we could do recommendations for the articles and have everybody voting, but I think we're gonna have to go with today. So I did look through the warrant and I have the titles of the articles. I have numbers, but they're probably gonna change, but they said if we vote and turn in the titles, that will be fine, and I would like to do that today. No reason not to, I don't think. So it can appear in the warrant. The first one is Article 19. I may be, let me see if I can share my screen as we talk through this. Well, I don't think you're seeing it, right?
I am.
I see it.
Okay,
Mhm.
for some
Wastewater
reason, I'm
90.
not. Wait, let me stop that. Try again. I don't know why I wasn't seeing it. All right. I'm not seeing it myself, which is kind of funny, but. Okay, now are you seeing it? I'm seeing it myself now.
Yep.
Okay. The first one is Article 19, wastewater, 95 Lawrence Road Cluster Wastewater Treatment Facility. This was developed by the Wastewater Committee with their consultant, Scott Horsley, and they had actually proposed at least 6 articles all lumped together dealing with wastewater, but the select board separated them out. So this one is for $1,931,886 for the purpose of designing, permitting, and constructing the facility that would serve 95 Lawrence Road and the town buildings. You know, this is, I believe would be a borrowing article. Grants would be sought for this, just as we got the Mass Works grant for the water. So does anybody have any questions or comments on this one?
So Elaine, for my purposes, I am going to do, well, let me do it this way. I move that we recommend, that the Wellfleet Housing Authority recommend, is that what we're doing, recommending this? Or-
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. The wastewater 95 Lawrence Road Cluster Wastewater Treatment Facility article.
Is there a second?
Second,
Was that Sarah?
yes.
Okay. Any more discussion on this one? All in favor, Sarah,
I,
Richard,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. Okay, great. The next one is Article 20. This is money for the operating costs of the system that will be developed. $52,746.
I'm sorry. Have we made the motion yet?
No,
I can move it.
okay. Is there a second?
Second,
And discussion?
hold on, Ryan, I'm getting the title of this.
I can send it to you too, Richard, but thank you for
Okay,
capturing it right now, but I can follow up with you.
okay, this is operating and maintenance, okay. Thank you.
Gary, did you
We're
have,
having, and the costs are obviously going to change. Why are they appropriating this money now? Do we know?
I can't answer that, no,
Yeah, I was wondering. Okay,
but we can ask them that. We can follow up. But,
that's right. I mean, I don't have any problem recommending it. It just occurred to me that
right,
this seems premature, but
right. And who knows what will happen, but we have them in front of us, so,
is the idea that people should know that there'll be an operating cost associated with it as well?
yeah, definitely, right. It's just that it probably won't happen next year, so,
Oh, it
That-
can happen for many years, right?
right, right. So that's a good point. And, you know, I think, you know, I'd be happy to ask that about Kurt and the rationale behind it. But if we're comfortable recommending it for now, that would be good. It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor? Sarah,
I,
Richard,
Aye,
Gary,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. Okay, the next are the community preservation. I don't think we do number 21, which is the general one. Do we, Gary, or should we?
I think we just have the three housing related ones.
Okay. So the first housing one, then it's specific, is the $500,000 to the Affordable Housing Trust. We already have Select Board and Community Preservation recommending it, so that's great. Is there a motion to recommend Article 22?
so moved.
Second?
Second,
second,
Okay, Gary, second. Any more discussion on this one? Okay, all in favor, Sarah? Sarah?
Oh, sorry, I said I, one of the cats.
Okay, Richard,
aye,
Gary,
aye.
Elaine, aye. The next one is the Veterans Home. The Community Preservation Committee did have a long discussion on this and I think reduced the request from, what was it, $50,000, Gary, to 15,000.
Yes.
The head of the guy that does all this lives in Wellfleet. He was very compelling when he spoke. So we felt, you know, the Community Preservation Committee felt it was a valid use.
There
of
are, there are many veterans in Wellfleet, and a number of them are living below the poverty line. And this is an attempt to address their needs.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve Article 23?
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. I know, Sarah, you're going to have to leave. There's a couple more.
Quick, quick.
24 is the Housing Institute. Is there a motion to approve Article 24?
So moved. I'm moving and voting at the same time.
Perfect. You're wonderful.
I'll second. All in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Elaine, aye. Okay, then there's a bunch on the Affordable Housing Trust, which are, it's like bylaws. It's all really incredibly detailed and good work that Harry Turkanian did. I can't remember if we have to approve them or not. Oh geez, there's so many of them. But here we go. Affordable Housing Trust. This is the bylaw that the town needs to vote for the trust, which Harry and town council prepared, and the trust approved it. I don't know if we have to vote on this one. We can wait on this one.
Let's vote on it just in case, Elaine, and if we don't need it, we don't need it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve Article 41?
Yes, I so move.
Okay, I'll second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Richard? Or
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Elaine, aye. Okay, Article 42. This is the Selectmen's accessory dwelling article. Is there a motion to approve Article 42?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion after our long discussion?
Mhm.
All in favor, Sarah?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Elaine, aye. 43 is the petitioned article. Do we want to vote on that one?
We should.
Yes. It's virtually the same, except for a few paragraphs that were changed during the select board meeting. So is there a motion to recommend Article 43, the petitioned ADU article?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Gary, we'll have you second. Good. All in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Richard,
Aye.
Elaine? Oops, Gary, aye. Gary, Gary,
Aye. Aye.
Elaine, aye, aye. Okay, those are it. So that was really important, Sarah. Thank you for hanging in there for that.
Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Right there, Sarah. Thank you.
yeah.
Well,
Let us know, you know,
Yeah.
in terms of what you hear, I don't think you can like write to all of us, but
Oh, I'm not allowed to. So-
you could talk to Sharon.
Okay, perfect. So I'll call Jerry and Doug and then I'll circle back with Sharon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, guys. All
Thanks.
right, have a good month,
Take
you
care.
guys, week.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay. All right, just real quick, the Housing Angels, we talked about that, the wonderful donations and getting ready to do a brochure.
Can I ask a question on that, Elaine?
Mhm. Sure.
Did we previously approve the money for the brochure?
I don't
Re-
think so. Is that
I
going to
didn't
come out?
see
of-
it.
Is
Right.
gonna- is it going to come out of the,
Well,
can it come
if
out of
we
the
ca-
estate
if we-
planning one?
If we can, we will.
Mhm.
But if not, I don't know that we have to approve the source. But let's approve some. Sharon, how much do you need?
You know what? I'm sorry, I don't have that figure.
Why don't we approve 2,000?
I
Well, we
can't
do-
imagine it would be that much.
Right, well, we have the
Yeah.
cost of design and the printing and,
Right, exactly.
and maybe we have some buttons and,
Yeah. I'd like to do some buttons with the little Housing Angel logo on it.
okay.
No.
So be that as it may, if 2,000 is a reasonable budget?
Is this going to be just a brochure or is it a brochure in a letter to all property owners.
And posters, we
Oh.
talked about putting them up in the news dealer and around town.
Because
Yeah.
when we did the letter to all the property owners, that cost about $3,500. So if we're more just doing brochures and posters that will be distributed in other ways, Sharon?
What letter did we write that?
I thought you wrote a letter. Wasn't that a letter a couple of months ago, a good letter you wrote, or was that brochure text?
That was more brochure text. I don't think we sent that out to all the homeowners, did we?
No. I mean,
Oh.
years ago when we did a fundraising letter.
Oh, I see.
This was a long time ago and we sent it out with that early brochure we had.
Yeah, well, that letter was kind of written with the idea of going into the Independent, as a sort of an
Okay.
op-ed piece, but we didn't go anywhere with that yet.
Well, all I'm trying here, I'm not advocating it one strategy or another, but just give you a budget. I want to make sure we approve a budget.
Yeah,
And I think the goal would be to have something for town meeting.
yeah. Although I don't know that we can campaign with it at town meeting. I don't think we can.
It's a fine line between information dissemination and campaigning.
Right.
You have to get the moderator's permission to,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and this, remember, we're going to have another outdoor town meeting with things that can float away in the
And
breeze.
we need to have I'd love to have a strategy meeting about that too, about how do we go about doing an outdoor town meeting? Because we can't do a presentation on a screen or anything. So,
Richard?
I move that we set aside, I move that we approve $2,500 as a budget for publicity for, Gary, what do you want to call it?
Sharon,
Sharon?
Housing Angels or?
housing agents, fine.
Right, Housing Angels. And you guys can figure out the details. How to spend it is up to you. But I will mention that I have about 500 Lawrence Road Wellfleet Housing Now buttons.
Oh, you do?
that were
Okay, well,
backup.
we definitely can use those and give them out.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean, we could do
around.
both. Yeah.
And
Good.
if-
I thought we were almost out of them.
It doesn't say Lawrence Road, it just says got housing or something.
Wellfleet Housing Now or something.
Wellfleet
Well, those
Housing,
were new
yes.
ones. Those were new ones. I still have about 12 of the old ones that say housing now.
Okay.
Okay, so Richard moved to $2,500. I'll second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Richard?
Aye.
Gary,
But-
aye.
But
Elaine.
Sharon, do you want us to arrange a meeting between now and, because we don't have to wait for our next housing authority meeting, or we could just do it in the context of the CDP meeting, if you want to devote one of them to the strategy.
The strategy for town meeting.
Yes, for town
Yeah.
meeting and for the Housing Angels program.
I
And
think that would be good to do with CDP and then maybe present it to the housing partnership.
Elaine, I can't remember, did we already make the next meeting specific to something? Was that specific to the MHP thing?
No, I don't think so, because we have our separate scoping committee about that. I think we were going to look at it again and see what people had put in, but we can really save that for the small scoping committee. Did we do a meeting on that Wednesday in wait, no, I think we had a Monday.
The MHP meeting is not until the 20th,
Is that a Monday or a Wednesday?
a Thursday.
A Thursday. Okay, so it doesn't conflict.
Maybe unless I wrote in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I don't have my calendar in front of me.
I thought it was the 20th at 10 o'clock.
That sounds right.
So we have a meeting on the 12th with CDP.
Mhm.
And if you want, either you or I, maybe you should be the one, Elaine, to request that, we make this a focus of what we're doing for the town meeting.
Town meeting.
Because
Sure.
we're not much time left.
Right. It's gonna go fast. Okay, that sounds good.
Well,
All right.
fortunately now it's June 26th instead of June 5th.
Right.
So do you want to do that? Or you want me to do that?
Yeah, I'll write to them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, trust update. I know Richard was hoping to sit in on our meeting, but wasn't able to make it. Richard, we're just, the scoping committee has a task of working with a Google Doc to identify strategies and tasks. And then that's going to get put into arranged into some document that we'll share with everybody for response.
Thanks, Elaine.
Okay, and Sharon, it's okay. Project updates, no update on the buy down right now. 95 Lawrence Road. We have, Rebecca did send the announcement to the Central Register, which means it'll come out next Wednesday. There's still a few fine points to finish up, but we agreed that could happen as long as it happened by Wednesday, we'd be good. Freeman Ave, we were chided a little bit last night by a planning board
Wait.
member.
Wait,
No.
before we go, Lee, did we get clarity on the septic strategy from Kurt or
Uh,
Scott? Did
not
we hear back from them?
Not yet. We
We
heard back from Laura, but Scott said he was going to look at it today.
Okay, but we sent it to them.
Yes. Mhm. Yep. So Freeman Ave, we really should talk about a separate meeting or as part of the trust strategies and priorities. But it was brought up that we've got the land, we've spent some money on it, and we haven't done anything with it. So we intend to.
He kept talking about 2 lots though, but as we know, it's down to 1.
I had raised my hand to try to respond to that, but I gave
But
up.
we can honestly say that we're trying to identify some additional land so that we can make this more than a one-house effort.
That's what I
And
was
attract,
hoping.
right, and attract other developers to the project.
Right. That's what I was hoping to say. But, all those things are then aside from what we're really talking about. So
Yeah.
I'll let it go by.
Yep.
Payne Hollow, Gary, were you going to touch base with Ted Malone about Payne Hollow?
Well, I already remember I sent him an email. Do you want me to send him another one?
We haven't heard anything, right?
Uh,
I can't remember.
I'll tell you what he said, but
Mhm.
I think the net is we haven't heard anything.
Okay.
But, is that something we want to relook at?
I think as we look at all our priorities and strategies with the trust.
So you want me to send him an update request?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Habitat, we are just still waiting for the hearing that's going to happen in August. So our next meeting, yes.
The only other thing is, Elaine, were you going to follow up with, we've had some communication with SPAT about the number of shellfishermen and what the need is for housing. And I can't recall, Elaine, are you following up or you want me to follow up on that?
Well, we talked about reaching out to SPAT and Nancy and Becca, but we didn't assign it to
Okay.
anybody in particular. And we talked about sharing the data with them to see where they thought that community fit in.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want to, one or the other, Russ, I don't think we both need to, is just send it to Nancy and to SPAT and to Becca.
Mhm. If you were willing to do that, that would be great.
I can do it.
Good. All right. Okay. Onward. So the next meeting, if we have our regular scheduled meeting and don't need another one, is June 3rd. Thursday, June 3rd at 10 a.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Okay, Gary, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Richard, let me
Thank
know.
you. And Sharon, thank you for all you're
Yeah,
doing.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
you're
Yes,
really
Sharon.
doing yeoman work.
I
We're
hope
gonna-
it bears fruit.
We're gonna slay them next time. We're
There
gonna
we
get,
go.
there we go. Richard, let me know if you need any of the,
I'll
You know-
put something together and send it to you, and you can let me know what needs to be fixed.
okay, enjoy this beautiful sunshiny day.
Before you, our meeting is over now, right?
Yes.
Okay, before you all go, do you all remember that term?
Be well.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Yep, be
Bye-bye.
well. Bye-bye.
Well,